the reason why we have this round is, well, our podcast is called the Telugu Saga, and our main point is to get like Telugu people to share their story, share their experiences with a bunch of different things. But we want to also talk to them in a more personal matter, and instead of like just also professional. It's great that you were able to share that this is your major and this is what you're doing. But we wanted to ask you questions that kind of relate to our culture and all that kind of stuff, right? So one of the first questions that I wanted to ask you is, what do you occasionally do that keeps you close to the Telugu culture? Example would be like movies, cooking Indian food, speaking Telugu to family, doing pujas, going to temple, cultural dances, a bunch of things. But what is something that you do?
Something that I do is definitely celebrate the festivals. So that's really a very big because that's what I remember ever since I was a kid. That kind of strikes in my head Diwali, you kind of light the lamps and things like that. So I feel like in Holi where you play with the colors and things like that. So I feel like that's something that was really really important for me to kind of keep in touch with the festivals of just India. And throughout my college life I was part of an Indian club in Penn State, and we were kind of in charge of celebrating events, all Indian events. And I felt like that was really important for me to kind of stay in touch with my roots, and that's where I found majority of my friends in college, and I could relate to them. Obviously, you can relate to Indians a lot more, to be honest, because I grew up in India and Dubai is pretty much like India. So it's just a modern India. That's like it's like India filled with high skyscrapers, pretty much. So there were way too many Indians in Dubai as well. So I kind of grew up, so I could relate to them a lot more. And that's where I met my friends, and I had a great time celebrating festivals. So that's one thing that strikes out to me, where that's what I do, celebrate festivals. And yeah.
When you wake up every day, what keeps you going?
Right now, nothing, because right now there's barely anything to do. But I mean, usually it would be on a regular day-to-day basis. I feel like I want to get somewhere in life. I don't want to end up a failure. Just kidding. But I feel like that kind of I don't know how to say it, but that I want to be successful somewhere down the path. And obviously my parents, because they keep saying, oh, did you do that? Did you do this? Did you do that? Constant calling every 5 hours. But even that was also, I was kidding about that as well. But what keeps me going is just I feel like my day-to-day activities and friends are really important to me as well. And I mean, I just it's just I like staying at home, so that's my yes. But yeah.
We'll message you after the podcast. Job vachinda, tinnava.
Yeah, you'll become like my mom. Literally, she's that's why my mom messages me. Did you apply? Are you applying to jobs? Did you eat? Did you sleep? Did you do that? Did you do this? So yeah. But I guess it's just really love it.
But I gotta say, with the type of knowledge you have, I mean, I know we spoke outside of the podcast too, and the information that you shared on the podcast itself, you have a lot of knowledge, and you love to talk. So it's great that you have those type of qualities, because I think you're not set for the failure. You're set for the success that's ahead of you. So I'm sure that once you graduate, you're gonna get a really good job in the area that you like.
I really hope so, because right now it's kind of a bad time for international students, because companies don't want to sponsor you. That's one thing. Second thing is people are literally getting fired because of the pandemic, or even if they're not getting fired, they're not hiring new people. And I mean, I'm hopeful though. I'm hopeful. I feel with the skill set I have, I will definitely I'm still hopeful. It's a bright future ahead. I believe so, but we'll see. Hopefully something works out for me. But
Is there something you really want to do but haven't done yet?
Oh yeah, for sure. I haven't done a lot of things. I haven't done a lot of adventurous things in my life. Because I'm shit scared like of a lot of things in general. Like I really want to skydive and scuba dive, and I'm just scared I won't be able to do both because I have a terrible fear of heights or even like depths. Like either up, like it's either or. Like I'm just terribly scared of either of them, and I know that I'll probably like go make the flight, like go in the flight, like the helicopter or whatever they take you in, and I won't jump. I'll just sit there. I'm like, yeah, I'm not going. So I probably won't jump, but I really wanted to skydive and scuba dive. I haven't done both. I'm really scared that like my one of my close friends, she's like a trained scuba instructor or whatever. She like trained for it, and she's like, yeah, if you go in too fast or come out too fast, you're like your eardrum can burst. And I was like, you're just saying as if some very like regular thing happens on the daily. And she's like, yeah, like your skin can peel off, your eardrum can burst. And I'm like, wow, I'm not gonna do this. Like you're just scaring me more, you know that, right? And then she was just like, yeah, I know that, but yeah, that's something I really want to do, but I'm just kind of scared. But we'll see. Like hopefully, I feel like as I kept growing up, I kind of started getting a fear of death for some reason. Because when I was a kid, I used to be that kid who used to be like, oh, let's go on roller coasters, let's do that, let's do till like seventh grade. After that, I was like, yeah, if this doesn't work out, I'll probably like die somewhere. So like, you know, so I used to be that very enthusiastic kid, but things change. I think as you grow older, you kind of start having fear of death or like fear of like losing a limb or something. So like, when you're a kid, you don't know anything. So yeah.
That's quite funny because for me at least, I mean, I love roller coasters. I love adventurous things, so I always try something new. I have not done skydiving either, so
I am
if don't worry if you're scared. We'll go skydiving, and then I'll be the one to just push you from the back, and then you'll have a nice ride down there.
like what my friend, like the same friend also done like skydiving, the scuba is very adventurous, all that kind of stuff. And like usually she was like, because usually she went with the person to jump with, like someone jumps with you, and they ask you to jump first because you're the one who's in the front and they're behind you usually because they can do all the latching and all that kind of whatever they do, like getting the parachute out, all that kind of stuff. So they ask you to jump, like they don't push you or anything because like they're attached to you, so you have to do the first leap, which is even more scary. If someone pushes me, like that's a different story, right? It is what it is. Like we'll figure it out once I reach the ground. But like the thing is, when someone goes with you have to take the first leap, like because they're attached to you on the back. So like, well, if they jump, then they jump with you. So I'm like, okay, that is scary. Like, but yeah.
It's interesting. And last rapid fire question that we have is there someone that inspires you?
I mean, as cliche as it sounds, probably like what I can think for like, in this rapid fire, what I can think first, probably my parents, because like it's very cliche. It's a very very cliche answer, but like I feel like for all that they've done for me, like till now, because like they were kind of very against me coming to America itself because coming all the way because I'm the only daughter as well, so coming leaving them, and it's more than it's kind of like their heart like left when I flew here sort of. So like so I had to convince them, make sure that I will be successful and like I get a good job and like I'll kind of be somewhere in my life and things like that. So I feel like for like kind of making a sacrifice to like leave their daughter at like I was 17, like I was very young when I mean I guess that's when everyone starts college, but still like that's when they were I was 17 and to kind of leave. It's like literally a 14-hour flight from here, so like to Dubai. So for all that they've done and like ever since like I was a kid, like how they brought me up and things like that, and and like not just that, like academically, like they are very academically oriented. They want me to like be successful like my academics and kind of like instilling that in me as well. Because I feel like if I didn't have parents, I probably wouldn't have studied because I don't have that kind of motivation. I probably wouldn't have that kind of motivation even barely like touch a book. Like not gonna lie. If I didn't have parents who were like constantly my academics and constantly like telling me to do things and all that kind of stuff, I probably wouldn't have. Like I know I kind of like figured that out myself. I was like, yeah, it's not happening. Like I know myself too well to like kind of, but yeah. So just the way they are and like and whatever success I've done till like because of them. So I feel like it's a very cliched answer, but like I feel like that's where it kind of lies. And yeah, I kind of want to be kind of it's time for me to kind of find a job and like kind of reward the benefits of me sending me here to them, sort of. So I kind of always have that in the back of my head. That's why it's really important to find a job. But yeah,
it might be a cliche answer, but it's a really valid answer because I mean we won't be here unless it was like from our parents, right? Like they do a lot of stuff for us, and it's definitely a good answer. So.
And if they're not there to push us around, I wouldn't have accomplished what I've done. But there's a fine line if that's really what you want to do. Medha, I think this was a great conversation we had around data science. I definitely got the gist of what it contains, and from a data scientist role on how you think of data and how it's applicable in real world scenarios. And your resources, I'll definitely take a look and see if I can get started and if I can use the pandemic to my use. And we'll definitely reach out if I have any questions, because you working with this data, it definitely might help with medical uses, any futuristic, and how I love how universities are teaming up, collaborating on to solve world's problems. So I'm really happy.
Yeah, for sure.